I
There
know,
you
like
go.
we did in another like artistic pose of Think
Like
X, like
shadows,
Like
shadows of
Buda-
Budapest.
Booty pest.
We do
That was
shadows
awesome.
in Budapest. This is one of the best architectural human beings making art out of the body and spelling words.
Hey, so Jim, you guys, Steve and Norwood, the tones that you guys did with the recorded stuff is really, Jimmy just started dialing it in. He's coming over tomorrow.
1, 2.
But the sounds are really good.
Norwood, give us a sound check, Norwood.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
That sounds much, much better.
Okay, it's a very weird balance here going on, but I'm gonna deal with it.
Oh shit! Are we live yet? Can anybody watch this?
We
Don't know. Are you connected to Mark?
Yeah, we're gonna go live on YouTube like right now, and we'll be
We're live as opposed to going on dead.
Welcome to the pre-show. This is before we get backstage. We're stuck in traffic. Enjoy the Stuck in Traffic show for the next
And
10 minutes.
We're actually backstage right now of the shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, you're backstage there. Oh, we look so fancy.
This is the pre-show, and we have a hell of a show for you. Not so sure about the pre-show, but we have a hell of a show for you tonight. We got a legend with us joining us.
One of my favorite peeps too, man.
Oh yeah.
That's one good dude.
And don't forget to like us on you. If you're watching us right now, you're on YouTube because that's the only place you can see us right now. But make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, hit the notification button, and tell your friends to do the same.
Yeah.
So guys, we've been working on a new song for the title and exit credits. And I just want anybody who's listening to know that we care a lot about the funk. And we're going to lay down some funk. And I have got my partners in crime, Kenny, Norwood, and Scott. And so what I did is I laid down a highway, 16 notes on the hat, real simple, and then went to the ride cymbal for about 8 bars. And it's only 36 seconds. And there's a big drum fill at the end. So I hope you enjoy what's coming. It's coming hard. It's coming fast. And
That's right. It's good.
You know, that's cool. We're making music, and we'll have a place to listen to it every 2 weeks. And so will you.
There's
This is true.
donations, so we can fly Kenny back and forth at will.
Yeah.
Well, soon I will be out there on a much more permanent hanging basis. So.
Plus all those donations for Kenny's new teeth. Right. We're working on that. You know, get them.
Hey, we're working on some really great stuff. I got some kind of cool phone calls today that we can share later. So there may be a lot more shows coming up.
Yay!
Exciting. Exciting.
And we got the big show coming up with Brother Dave, man. The big festival coming up, right?
Yeah.
Let's save that for when everyone's watching us.
Okay, we're not going to say
Facebook. We can talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's
Hey.
talk about it when we.
Well, the good thing about the show, you're going to get raw think, because we only play a couple songs at rehearsal, and the rest of them have been asleep for months and maybe even more than a year. So when you hear us play a song, it is a true moment in time where the band is feeling it and also thinking it.
Thinking it.
Because we have to remember how it goes.
That's right. Because it will be a little bit of time has gone by. Right?
Pretty wild.
I mean, really, if you think about it, it's going to be the first really kind of major show for Think in a year and a half, right? I mean, there were a couple small shows.
Yeah, I would say there's not too many minor league shows either. This is, positively one of the new
This is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is.
I want to go back to Budapest and do the Ozora Festival. That thing was fun, right? Wow.
That was
I'm going this time if you guys do.
Okay.
Oh, you have to go.
Yeah, I'm bummed.
It's an adventure.
Yeah.
I know I'm bringing much more comfortable walking shoes this time.
Poor Kenny, man. I'll never forget that because we were walking all over the place. You were the whole time, man. You were suffering, brother. That's
the very engineer boots walking on that cobblestone, especially when we went to that castle. We were walking up there. I'm like, oh,
that was
here goes some plantar fasciitis here.
Yep.
Norwood, you still with us over there? Let's just do a check.
Yep.
Okay, good. Just checking.
I love your background, Norwood. It looks really cool. Where are you?
I gotta take some bass off of this. There it is. Right there.
Good.
I've
Now.
never heard you say I've got to take some bass off. I mean,
I know.
that's wild.
It was
Bass. How do you?
kind of.
So guys, listen, so I'm going to try and stay on as long as I can. The only thing that I was going to say was to I have some questions for Tony, but if I have to go off, the only thing I was going to say is wrap it up and see us on Facebook, et cetera, so someone could take that over if I'm not back on. Unfortunately,
I'll do it. If you're not there, I'll do that part.
Yes.
I'll close this
unfortunately,
out.
there's no private room here. There's nothing. We're moving from thing to thing, so I'm kind of stuck.
Are there any hot chicks in wardrobe right now
Yes.
that you need to check on?
Hang on, I got to move my phone.
We'll go
Hold
with
on.
you.
Yeah. This is now we're talking. Now we're talking pre-show.
Now we're talking.
Hey.
There we go. Hi, girls.
ladies.
Drove in the house.
Yeah.
Here's a wardrobe. Here's wardrobe. Say hi.
Oh, okay. Here, that was Aaron.
Hi, wardrobe.
Yeah.
Whoa, look at everybody all
yeah.
wardrobed up. Wardrobe it
Hello,
up.
everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this.
Making movies.
Go back to the late.
Hey, look, we got peeps. Howdy, peeps.
Wow. Look at that. Where are you, Sheila? Can you tell us? Or is that NDA material?
Here's all my word. Yes. It's pretty cool. I have to wear a
Look at
mask.
that.
Where
I
are
have to
you?
wear the mask. Downtown LA.
Okay.
Here's my protege.
Wow.
I know.
In Norwood, it says on the notes, you're gonna thank last week at 5:45, and I'm gonna get Tony on at 5:43. Of course, that's reverse. Just don't pay no attention. But
Got it. Good observation.
Good observation.
welcome back to the show. This is where backstage doesn't get ever.
This is it.
Yeah.
Haha, there it
There
is.
you
Ooh,
go.
that was a little sample.
I'm
That
not
was
sure
some
what that
funky-
was, but I told you we're a magnet to the funk.
Yeah,
That's right.
I heard Norwood's bass in there doing that magic. The man. Hey, Norwood, when we're up doing that show in the end of August, we should take advantage of being up there. And if my son comes, we should get in the water, do some surfing.
Oh,
And I will try.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Dave, are you at all concerned about your Band-Aid? No, I'm telling you, because I got an idea.
What? Let's hear it.
We should all put one on, all the hosts.
That's right. We could all do that.
I love it. It could be our PSA, our PSA for freaking, making sure you get your skin checked
Yeah.
Yeah,
and sunscreen.
important.
Although
Oh.
sunscreen now causes cancer is what they're saying. So there you go. Like,
You know, you can't.
Yeah, you
win
got to wear a
either way.
hoodie. I got to wear a hoodie in 103-degree weather.
Right.
That's right.
That's funny. I could take it off and just have, my Frankenstein like line right down my nose.
But then you got to yell, Adrian.
Adrian.
They never broke my nose. I'm very proud. Of that. They never.
Don't you have a decorative Band-Aid?
Oh, what?
A little decorative Band-Aid,
I wish I did. I wish I had the Mickey Mouse, and I put the Mickey Mouse on, but I don't. The doctor just gave me these, and that was it. No fun.
And you see Perkins in his new car?
Oh, nice. I like it.
That's
Right?
awesome.
Is that a Lotus? What is that?
That was me hanging out with one of the most wild motherfuckers I've ever met. And
I've
I've met some wild motherfuckers. This guy was on fire.
Oh
That's
boy,
what-
was he.
I know the wild motherfuckers you hang with. So
This guy was
I've
crazy.
seen them up close and personal.
Wow, I've never seen anything like this. But that car was like testament to his all around maximum to party, maximum to earn, maximum to spend.
Anyone we know?
I don't think you've never met him. No, he may have came to one of the Dome shows.
That's right. Yeah, he did come to the Dome shows. And then we remember these two.
Oh, yeah, remember that? That's crazy.
Derek's playing tonight. Derek's playing tonight over at the Killer
Trip,
Yacht
right?
Club.
Yeah, that's his Muffin Band. What is it called? The Muffin Men.
The Muffin Man or something. I'm not
Yeah,
even
yeah.
sure.
Man, oh bummer, I can't go there.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, a countdown. Listen,
We're
Let's
4
make-
minutes out.
let's give each other room to talk. If you guys want to do a round robin to Tony, I'll introduce him. Norwood, why don't you take the first question? Because you always have
yep.
insightful, very insightful things, and I hate saving them. So I'll introduce him. He'll say thank you, and then can you be the first?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would gladly do that.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, that would be cool.
Baseman to baseman.
Yeah, and because you always say interesting. You're like a diving board. When you say something, we go into a pool of conversation. It's massive. It's awesome.
I love when you catch some of the people like you just get them with these awesome questions and they don't even,
Kenny, when
See
was
it
the
coming is
first
awesome.
time you put your face in it?
And then I want to know about this picture. When were you hanging out with Salvador Dali and stuff? That was my
That's right. I was doing the hang
Yeah.
with Man Ray, Dali, Gaudi. They're all there. Perkins.
They're all there.
That was what a day that was.
Oh
That was
my God.
awesome.
That was crazy cool, right?
And the fact that the girls were trying to find that castle and didn't want to come with us right away to the Dolly show, and it's at that castle.
And there we were, Kenny boy, hanging out with the guys. It was nice of
Yeah.
them to stay for
Yeah.
the pictures. They didn't care, right? They were letting us
Yeah.
take pictures.
Yeah, they're
That was
very,
it.
very patient men.
Very patient.
They were. They
Oh,
were
yeah.
very OG.
But
Double OG.
this was my favorite thing though out of the whole thing. Right there, the Think.
Yeah.
THINK.
That was so cool. Hey, do you guys know that there's an Zorro get together Monday night? I think John Stancorb was organizing it. Did you get a message for July 26th, Monday?
I think
I
it's a
did
lunch.
a month ago. I did, but I haven't heard from him since.
Yeah, it's this Monday. I think it's lunch.
What's
Is it-
that?
Yeah, John Stancorb.
Yep.
I forgot
Wow.
about that.
Yeah, it's right around the corner from my house, literally about a half a mile from my house.
Where is it?
Granville, Laurel Canyon, and Ventura.
Okay, all right.
That is a good album cover, right?
Oh my God.
That's a
Perfect.
great album cover, actually.
THINK. Look at it there, right there.
Right? It's awesome.
That's
All right.
that's a really cool idea for an album cover
Yep. That is good.
or an NFT.
That's right.
All right, we got 1 minute, boys.
I love them
Okay,
NFT.
so do me a favor, if I'm not on to ask the question, I really want to know about Tony, about his wardrobe, how he chooses what to wear with who he plays with. So
Okay.
I think that's kind of an interesting, he's got a
But-
really
but-
cool wardrobe.
We'll save that one to like.
You gotta
do that
ask
as a
them.
Norwood.
That's
We'll
a
do that
girl
like-
question.
It's a
Yeah, I
girl
was gonna say we'll do that as a Norwood. Well, we got a question from Rebecca in Culver City wanted to know.
But you could just say
Yeah.
me. You
Yeah,
could
of
just
course.
say Sheila wanted to know if I'm not on, but I'm going to try and make sure I ask that question.
All right, thanks,
Okay.
man. We will. I hope you have a great afternoon. It's good to see you at work.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be working. It's great.
Yeah.
All right.
That is awesome.
Mark, you want to push us live? And I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to say goodbye because I got to bring up the run a show on my phone.
It's
you tell me when we're
it's-
live.
It's you, Norwood, for last week, and then me and the Tony.
I believe we are live. Okay. So, boys, what do you say? You ready to start the show?
Let's
Count
do
me
it.
down.
Okay.
Count me down.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second here as I get myself set up.
Are you driving stick right now? You're driving stick shift, aren't you?
I am driving a
Yeah.
stick shift, so bear with me.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay, all right, here we go. We are
Here we
quiet on
go.
the set. Sheila, did I do that well? Here we go.
Good job.
And here we are. Welcome to the Rockin' Talk Show, the bi-weekly show that dives deep into the entertainment industry, the business of it, the stories and culture around it, and everything in between. I'm the Moss Man. Let me quickly introduce my co-hosts. We got the one and only Stephen Perkins from Jane's Addiction over here. We've got Scotty Page from Pink Floyd, Norwood Fisher from Fishbone, Kenny Olson, the Twisted Brown Trucker Band, and of course, Sheila Conlon Company on set working right now. How is everybody doing? Are we all good?
Good.
Good.
I want to know what are you doing right now? What show? What is that?
What, honey?
What are you working on? Where are you at?
We're filming my show about the rise and fall of Von Dutch for Hulu. So we're in our 5th day of shooting our dramatizations, and it's been so exciting. I can't even tell you. I'm beyond. After 5 years of working towards this, it's here, and I'm doing it. So I couldn't be more happy.
That's
exciting. You
That's
worked
awesome.
very hard to put that together, and it's awesome.
It goes to
And
my
it's
mind.
great.
It ain't easy having this much fun, right?
I'm going to do a PSA for everybody right now. This is the elephant in the room. We're going to talk about it. I had a chunk of cancer, a basal cell carcinoma, removed from the tip of my nose. And I'm just going to say it didn't look like anything. I went to the doctor to have something else checked, and she basically saw this. The something else was nothing, and said, we need to do a little biopsy. It turned out to be a cancer. I had it cut out and sewed up. So I urge everyone to get your skin checked regularly and often, because it's just, you never know. It's a little thing. It's easy, simple. It's a Band-Aid, kind of sucks, but other than that, I'm fine. So that's my PSA for the day.
I think you look tough and cool.
I think it gives you that Bullwinkle look.
Well, yeah, there you go. Or if I had some
told
black glasses, it would be like the nose and the glasses, the Groucho Marx, right?
Right, there you go.
I would have told the story that you were like doing you were in a UFC fight or something the other day, and
Yeah. Well,
you
actually, I was
should've
gonna
churched
say,
it
I
up.
have so much nose. I have so much nose to go around. I went in and had a nose reduction, but
There
no,
you
that's-
go.
No, but listen, man, I'm praying for what they took out to never come back.
Yep.
And I'm so proud to know that you're brave and you're always positive and you're talking about stuff. So David Moss, God bless you.
Thank
And
you.
you know what? Whatever the environment and the sunshine and radioactivity and what you eat, and even if you're your perfect soul who doesn't touch any poison, it comes at you. So you gotta, if you can't defend from everything, but you got to get it off your body sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
and God only knows I am a perfect soul. So it's like,
do you think that workman's comp covers like deviated septums for musicians?
Oh man.
maybe if you're a singer.
But what about last 2 weeks ago? I was in my hotel room. Sorry, I got knocked out at the very end. I think I was they thought I was checking out at 4 p.m. or something happened. They cut me out.
What?
I couldn't even use my card anymore to get in or out of the room, but I had a good time with it. But that moment, but the show was great last week or 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, Trevor, huh? How
Was.
about that kid? Unbelievable.
It's cool.
He's a good man.
He's playing poker in my poker tournament tomorrow night with us out in Calabasas. So that'll be fun. We're going to have we have about 40 guys that play poker once a month, and he's going to join in. So,
Yeah, cool.
hey, how about the Wanimi Beach Fest? Let's talk about that for a quick second.
Yeah.
I am beyond excited. We are, I'm co-producing along with the city of Port Wanimi, the Wanimi Beach Fest, which happened for many years, but it stopped about 10 years ago. And we had it planned for last year, 2020, and then COVID hit and we had to cancel it.
Wow.
So we rescheduled it, and it's August 28th and 29th. It's on the beach in Port Wanimi. And we have an amazing lineup of artists. We've got, of course, Think is going to be there closing the whole show out on Sunday night. We have Arise Roots, an amazing reggae band. We have Diggin' Dirt from Humboldt County, an amazing funk band. And then on day one, we've got Law, which is Brandon Knowles' son, Jacob Knowles from Sublime. Jacob is the son of Brandon. And he's got a really amazing band. And then we've got Fausto Cuevas y La Moderna. Perkins, you could probably give us a little insight to him because you turned me on to him.
He is one of the greatest percussionists I've ever seen in person. And he's a giving soul from Texas, right on the border of Mexico. So he's got this, very infused like Texas, blues, and also this Spanish and Latin rhythm. Plays with Stevie Wonder, J-Lo, and his own band, and they're bringing some hot salsa basically to the party, right?
It's going to be exciting. And then finally on that day, we have Ozo Motley. So it's going to be, and it's a free festival. Like there's going to be food, there's going to be vendors, there's going to be actually a cannabis cove. There's going to be 6 local dispensaries from Port Wanimi, including From the Earth, that are going to be in the venue. We're going to be able to take orders, and then right across the street, you're going to be able to go get your orders fulfilled. So it's kind of a first, like it's a very innovative festival. The city of Port Wanimi is very forward thinking, and the first city to be legal, to have legal cannabis in Ventura County. So, hey, August 28th and 29th, think is August 29th. And it's a free fest, and it's going to be amazing. And you can check it out at wanimibeachfest.com. So there's my PSA.
Oh yeah, and Jacob Knowles' dad is Bradley Knowles.
Bradley Knowles. I said Brandon.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Thank
Bradley.
you. Thank you for that.
Right. So Norwood, you were going to also talk a little bit about our show last week with Trevor.
Oh yeah, well, you know what? Yeah, when we went into that, I was like, okay, maybe it's time to just say thanks to our guest last week, Trev Lukather. He's amazing. He's a classy dude, inspirational. We'll be keeping our ear to the ground and looking forward to all your releases and anything that you're up to. Wishing you much success.
Yes, big time. I mean, I've been
and
hearing
if
he's
you're
been playing some
watching,
clips of his new record. It's been unbelievable. Some
Yes.
really cool
Right on.
clips. Yep.
Yes, and please like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube.
And I'll let everybody know how well of a poker player he is on the next show.
All right.
So what do we got? I mean, we have an amazing show tonight. Perk,
Yeah.
you wanna bring in
One of
our
my favorite peeps. This is like one
Absolutely.
of my favorite people.
So-
I love this guy.
We're all musicians and he has been part of our little group, the alumni of Think. He's one of the greatest souls. He's giving. He plays a fretless bass like no one I've ever seen. He's dangerous, but he's also such a calm, uplifting spirit.
Yeah.
And he's one of the greatest guys I
Dynamic.
know. Tony Franklin on bass, Interface, the fretless monster.
Yeah.
Tony, how are you?
Tony.
Hello.
Yay, Tony
How are
boy.
you, everybody? It's wonderful to see everybody. Really is.
Yes. It's good to see you, my
Welcome
brother.
to the Rock and Talk Show, Tony.
Very happy
Again.
to be here.
Again, actually, Tony was part of the Rock and Talk Show at the very beginning, and then just
Yeah.
got so busy, had to do other things, and then we just had to bring him back as a featured guest because you're
Because
just
I
such
have
a
too
cool
much
dude.
to say. That's the
That's right.
problem
Too
is.
much to say.
Never get enough of Tony Franklin, my brother.
God, I remember the first time when I met you, Tony. It was under a very interesting circumstance when Norwood Fisher was out there being a child and riding on his skateboard, falls down, breaks his wrist, right? This is the thing. And we get called. We're supposed to be doing one of our dome shows, sold out show, everything that day, right? It was that particular day. And we're like, what are we going to do, right? I mean, no Norwood. We got to go do this show. The place is filled. So we called Tony Franklin. I don't know who was it that made that recommendation. And Tony says, yeah, I'll come and do
Perkins.
that. And so we did this, it was a full hour and like 20-minute show, hour and 20 minutes. He walked in, played the entire show. There was no mistakes. I was like blown away. You
Better than
actually
the rest
played
of
that
us.
entire show, saved our life, Tony Franklin. And that's when I got to first meet you. And I was like, again, blown away because we got through it without, without going down with the ship.
Well, hey, do you want to add anything to that, Nor? Because I was going to discuss this because, what happened? What happened?
I've been skateboarding since I was probably 7 years old. And I was probably 1972 to 2019, I had not broken a thing skateboard. February 2019, I ate shit and it was the biggest shit I ever took.
But talk about it, because you weren't doing shit.
No, it was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those moments where I was actually, because I've been being risky leading up to it. I parked my car in this parking garage, and at like 5 a.m, I'm plugging I got a hybrid, right? I plug my car up, and then I just bombed the whole like parking structure, like,
Yeah.
you know, like, and going, like, I live here at the beach, so it's downhill to my apartment, right? And I'm skateboarding back and forth, and this day I'm like, okay, I got a show. I will not bomb the parking structure. I'm like, Scott will be pissed at me if I hurt myself. And I'm like, okay, I'm a cruise. And I looked at, I had options. I'm like, okay, that way. And there's this nice smooth sidewalk, second, like Broadway between Second and Ocean in Santa Monica. Nice, smooth. I'm like, I'm gonna take that smooth sidewalk, bumpy streets. I'm used to doing that. And there's this woman walking straight toward me. I'm like, I'm gonna give this lady plenty of room. I don't want to upset her day. And I kind of swerved out to just give her room. I'm cruising, not hot dogging, not speed demoning. And I just think it was like a little dew on the sidewalk got me a little just enough hydroplane to just throw off my game, and bloop.
Yeah.
As soon as I hit, I knew, like, and I'm like, I hope it ain't what I think it is. And I looked up, like, I ain't got nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, the photo I saw was pretty tragic. You could put it in an encyclopedia of medicine as a broken wrist, a 50-year-old broken wrist.
I'm actually was looking for the photo and I couldn't find it. I was just looking for the photo.
You
Tony,
know,
I had a quick question, Tony. Do you?
Yeah, well, I want to expound on that story. I want to tell
Yeah.
my side of it
Well, it's
too,
about that.
unless it's related to that. Is that
It
story
is.
your question?
Tony.
Yeah.
No, it is, but go ahead, please.
Well, you know, part of my philosophy is that opportunity often comes as a challenge in disguise.
Yeah.
Right. So, and, you know, you never want an opportunity to come your way through somebody's misfortune. But, you know, I got a call from Scott, who I'd never met before. He said he was the former Pink Floyd saxophone player. I was like, okay, well, he's cool then. And Perkins recommended me and everything. It was 11 o'clock in the morning, right? And I needed to be, and I'm a couple of hours away from LA. So I needed to be there for 5 o'clock, ready to play a set of Pink Floyd, right? And of course, you know Pink Floyd, but there's one thing knowing it and there's one thing playing a set of it, right? And I'm like, I was half wondering, it's like, wow, can I even pull this off? Should I do it? Should I even do it? Because it's like, I don't know if I can really do it. You know, and so it's like, no, it might be an opportunity in disguise. So I think, Scott, you may have sent me some rough charts and everything. And then I listened to the rest of them, made some quick charts. I'm good. I've got used to writing charts very, very quickly. They save my rear end. They really do. And so it's like I got up there and loaded my equipment up, and we played the set, and it's miraculously went flawlessly.
It did, though, because I told Scott, you know, when we called you, I said, you know, because I go, Tony's actually played with David Gilmour. He's going to come and know this stuff better than us. And the first time you and I played it, first times we played together, we were just thrown on stage on the Hendrix tours, no rehearsal. So, I mean, you're amazing, Tony. So it was.
Well, you're very
we
kind.
we knew you were going to come in, and it was amazing. But Norwood, real quick, where you crashed on your skateboard? You know, when I was at your house last month and we were working on our song, you know, all of a sudden the cops go by while you and I were talking in the parking lot. And of course, my son had took off on his skateboard
Right.
and it was bombing that hill right by your thing. And I see him just going, whew, and there's the cops turning around there. I'm like, oh God. And you had just pulled off. I'm like, I got to find my kid before the cops do. He just went shooting down there.
Hey, so
Good
Norwood,
hill.
are you skateboarding anymore, Norwood?
Hell no.
Okay.
I'm like, I gave it up. I'm like, if I stub my toe skateboarding, I'd be mad, so mad at myself.
Well,
Yeah.
honestly, I like Tony said, I don't like, you know, anything off of someone else's misfortune, but I wouldn't have met Tony Franklin if that didn't happen either. And it
too.
was that same night, that first night. So you know,
Yeah,
and
and
I
we've
feel
done, I did quite a few gigs with you guys while Norwood was healing, and then he was back in, and then we've also done other things together, you know, the different gigs here and there. So it's turned into a very fruitful thing, aside from just the wonderful friendships, you know. So it's sometimes you just have to grab those things, you know, as musicians and artists, we're brought up feeling there's always a little bit of self-doubt, right? Isn't there? Even after all these years of doing it, you're like, well, I don't know if I can pull this off. But
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I was gonna say, man. That not the self-doubt, but I always think to myself, am I the right guy for the job? And I'm like, you know what? It's not a job. We're just playing music. And you know, we get paid for it, but we actually get paid to get in traffic and all the bad stuff. You know, we don't get paid, we get, you know, playing is the good time. We get that's the payoff.
Yeah.
But I kind of enjoy that, you know, urgency when you have to learn something and you have a gig that night. And sometimes you have too long, you get over it, and that it's like you overlearn it and you lose the, you know, enthusiasm. But you taught us, like Kenny said, you taught us a couple nuances that we were kind of just bullying right over. So that was, you know, it was a real, and you are so sensitive when you mention the arrangement, how to fix something if you hear it's not working. You're very sensitive to everybody around you, and you just want it to sound good. And I never feel as a drummer, I guess what I'm saying is you always make me feel like, even if I don't know what I'm exactly doing, you help me find my way. And as a musician and a friend, that's why I knew to call you, because you are the right guy for any job, any kind of music. It's just because you're a good guy and a great soul to play with, and you're, you know, you would lift the rest of the musicians up. So thank you.
How did you two meet, Perkins and Tony? I'm curious about that story.
Well, first of all, thank you, Perkins, for those amazing words, and right back at you. You know, people don't realize that a gig half the time is about the vibe. It's about that connection and chemistry, you know, especially as we get older. It's like you'd rather play with people, and you were an amazing drummer, and I love the way that you go off your instincts. And we'll talk about what we did in the beginning, which was Perkins' side project called Banyan, which is completely free form. There's no scripting on no. Yeah, right.
Exactly. Wood's been there. Yeah.
So you know, there is something really to be said about that not over rehearsing thing. The good thing about me coming in like that, there was no pressure on me, because you know, the expectations were I'm coming in with a few hours notice. So if I make a few mistakes, it's like I'll be forgiven. But I like to do a great job every time. And so, you know, anyway, all that aside, it's funny, you know, I was down in, I have to remember how to say this, Macon rhymes with bacon. You see, Macon, Georgia, the classic studio down there called Capricorn. And so
Allman
incredible
Brothers.
history. Yeah, you probably know about that. Allman Brothers, everybody is recorded at the Southern rock scene. So anyway, recording with a band down there, and I was kind of guiding it. I do like to gently guide. I don't want people to feel put down or like they're not good or anything. I'm very sensitive to that because maybe I'm sensitive about it too. So I try to communicate in a way that empowers people and makes them feel good and like they can do it and everything, and not, if they make a mistake, so what, you know. But it's more about the heart, isn't it? But anyway, we're on like the fourth take, and I said, guys, we've probably got it there. We shouldn't go past this point because the energy's, I can feel it starting to just go past that peak. And if it's better to have a slightly not so good take technically, but the vibe's good. Now, Jimmy Page was big on that. Here all over the Zeppelin stuff, you know, there's mistakes, right? There's
beautiful mistakes, we call them.
But the vibe is so cool. I mean, one of my favorite tracks is In My Time of Dying, and you know, it feels like they don't know what's coming next or how it's going to end, and they're just kind of scatting and making it up. And there's, you know, fluff notes here, there, and everywhere, but
it feels good, right?
The vibe is so magic, and to me, it's better to have that than a polished, perfect performance.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I always say this: one of the most dangerous buttons on the console is the solo button, because how many times you've like cut tracks and you're like listening to it and it's just smoking, right? And then you come back in and you come in there and all of a sudden you say, "Oh, let's listen to the bass," and it's like, you know, it's a little bit out of tune and the time's a little funny there. Let's go fix that. And then, oh, this little part. And all of a sudden, all the vibe gets mixed out of it, right? It just goes away.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more, man. There's just something about those spirits. And you know, what's so interesting is you could do 2-3 takes back to back and each one will have its own personality, even though you played them, just depending on the vibe of the people, you know, what happened at that very moment. It's really
and we're talking the old school way that we were brought up recording as well, because these days you can go in and microscope everything, make it all perfect. The time is great.
The soul and substance out.
You know, they put everything in tune, and you lose the soul. So it's very dangerous, that, and if anything, that's one thing I don't like.
I call us victims of overchoice.
I go
victims of overchoice.
If you remember what you did when you played it, then you need to go back. You need to have that performance that you don't even remember what you did. It just came out of you, and you became one with what it is. But Tony, I got to ask, because, you know, for example, even like first time you and I played together years and years and years ago on the Hendrix tour, it was like, it was already being out on those tours playing with Billy Cox and Bootsy. But for you, you know, I like think, wow, these great bass players I've played with have played with my guitar idols, you know. And when John McDermott said, well, you and Tony are in a band together tonight too, and you and I had already known each other, and I was all excited because thinking about you with, like, you know, Jimmy Page and Gilmore and all this stuff. How old were you like when you started playing with Page? And like, just, I don't know, maybe talk a little bit about just the fact that you've been the man called on by some of the best guitar players that, you know, have been in this planet.
On the planet.
So,
well, no, I still look back and look, and I'm glad there are pictures and videos, because it's like, it's one of those pinch me moments that I was so young at the time. I was 22 when I started playing with Page and Jimmy Page. And, you know, it was very, very organic and natural. It wasn't forced. And we came together through his and our mutual friend, Roy Harper. Now, Roy Harper, many will know, some won't know. He sang on Pink Floyd's Have a Cigar. And on Led Zeppelin 3, there's Hats Off to Harper. It's the final track on there, which is a tribute to him. Jimmy and Roy Jimmy used to guest on Roy's albums. He's like, I call him the English Bob Dylan, which is kind of doesn't paint the full picture of him, because guitar playing wise, he has all the finger picking and alternative tunings. And it was big influence on the Floyd and Led Zeppelin. I mean, when Roy's probably made 30 albums in his own right, and he would do gigs, and he'd have Keith Moon and Pete Townsend and John Paul Jones and Jimmy and all the guys sitting in with him. It's like they had so much respect for him. And I remember Roy telling me around the time that he was making or cutting the track for have a cigar, Gilmore would apparently be telling Roger, stop ripping Roy off. Because he was so influenced. He was such an influence on those guys. And,
Well, the
and
way
so
he
anyway,
delivers, yeah, his delivery of those words, I always thought, of course, as a youngster, it must be one of the Floyd guys singing, but there's so much pain, but also so soulful. And now it's another guy. It's not even in the band. Shows up and just knocks it out of the park, man.
apparently they weren't too happy about that either. They wanted to have a few more goes at it. But I've heard the other takes as well, and it just didn't have that same spit, that delivery, and everything. And he did one take, and that was it. And he said, they weren't getting it, and he happened to be in Abbey Road at the same time recording his stuff, and let me have a go at that. And it was, I laid down one take, and that was it. But anyway, fast forward to 1982. I was professional at that point, and I was part of a 10-piece dance band called Pete's People. Right, in Birmingham, England, and playing 3 sets a night on the revolving stage, playing ballroom dancing up until disco dancing and all that. So I was reading charts, 10-piece band. It was amazing. I was 18 years old and professional musician. It was amazing. So
you're playing funky back then.
All that stuff. Funky Town. I've played that more times than you could imagine.
Right. Awesome.
But anyway, the drummer in that band knew the then manager of Roy Harper, who was doing a recording session, brought in the drummer. Do you know a bass player? 20-year-old Tony was the one. And so I had short hair, striped down one side and everything. I was a bit. We
should all do a gig together where we all have to wear our hair how we wore it back in the 80s. Everybody has to.
Pick one for me. I had so many
years. You do too.
But anyway,
got to do it too.
Well, the session went well, and then I ended up doing a bunch of albums with Roy. And Roy, fast forward in 1984, he's doing another album, called me in. Jimmy's playing guitar, and so we just hung. I mean, it was just like so relaxed and so organic. Bear in mind, I knew nothing about Led Zeppelin. I was turned off to Led Zeppelin at a very young age. I didn't know anything about them. When I was playing Madison Square Garden with the firm, I still hadn't heard Stairway to Heaven. Wow. It was ridiculous. Wow. So for me, it wasn't about, wow, this is Jimmy Page. I want to die. It wasn't like that. It was just very natural and organic. And hey, we're the band. We just want to do a good gig tonight or record a good song.
Wow.
And so it felt like that the whole time. And to their credit, both Jimmy and Paul gave me complete freedom and weren't telling me what to do. They just let me do my thing. I never once, and they let me, I was hands on the board when we were mixing. I played a lot of keyboards. And
who brought Chris in?
That he was already on board. But here's the thing, there's a great story about Chris. On the same day, well, first call he get is from David Gilmour. And so he asked him to do his tour, right? And so Chris said, yeah, I'll do that. And so later the same afternoon, he gets a call from Jimmy Page.
No.
Wow.
Hey, we're putting this band together. Would love for you to sit in on it. Oh, I'd love to do it, but I just committed to doing the Gilmour tour.
Damn.
No worries. We'll wait for you.
Wow.
What?
That's amazing.
Wow. Talk about a power position. Holy
damn.
Yeah. So, and the tour went longer. Were you on that, Scott? The About Face tour or not? No. Or was that before you? No, 84. Yeah. So in the meantime, Jimmy did the Arms tour with Paul Rodgers, Ronnie Lane, Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, all those guys.
I was at that show at the Forum both nights. It was amazing.
Yeah, there you go. And that was a coming out really for Jimmy because he hadn't played live and he was recovering from various things and all his stuff and all that. And so it was very much an empowering thing for him. And they actually performed Midnight Moonlight, a song that was ended up on the first Firm album, which was originally a Zeppelin idea called Swan Song. You can hear it on YouTube, the original version, which that was the impetus for them. Like, oh, this is cool. I like what we did on that song together. Do you want to do something? So he left, Paul left Jimmy to put the band together.
Wow.
And we encountered, it's that all these happenstances, these things that lined up.
Well, you know what was cool is like Chris Slade, the drummer, is a spacious drummer and a very high technical tone. Yes. It was a very modern drum tone. And then you and Jimmy are so, you know, dare I say, absinthe or a couple pints. The sound of it is just very loose. Yeah. And it's great. I like it very much. One of my favorites of all time. And it's just, what a rhythm section. Was Chris brand new to your life? Like your drummer? You never met him before?
That first time I met him was the first day of rehearsal. So I was asked to sit in on the rehearsals. I actually wasn't asked to join the band. It was at that point, it was just sit in. You know, they wanted to. Jimmy played with me, so we'd done gigs together. We'd recorded the album with Roy. And so, you know, he was feeling confident enough to bring me in. But, you know, need to see how it all sat with the guys and everything.
You guys, we can't pass this opportunity up to just show a little clip. Like,
oh, sure, yeah, I've got
a little clip,
and then I'll tell the story.
Yeah, here we go.
Well, I'm not uptight, not attractive. Turn me on tonight, 'cause I'm radioactive. Well, it's not a fight, and I'm not your captive. Turn me loose tonight, 'cause I'm radioactive. I want to stay with you. I want to play with you, baby. Don't be distracted. Turn me on tonight.
Yeah.
Tony.
You know,
Tony. I actually saw that tour. I saw the Firm at, I want to say it was the Forum. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I saw the Firm at the Forum in probably like 85 or something like that.
Exactly. Yes, when we played the Forum, the Magical Forum in 1985, and
unbelievable.
You know that's
with Navarro.
Yeah,
Navarro. We were there. Oh, yeah? We were like holding each other, going, Jesus Christ, they're real people.
Yeah, Tony. I remember when that song came out, you know, I was still, you know, working in music stores, you know, teenager and stuff. And I remember when that came out, and I was like, one of the guys that worked at the store was an expert luthier in Detroit. And people started coming in with their P basses, whatever basses, or Music Mans or whatever. And they were having their frets torn out and filled in by him because of what you did right there. Was such a big influence on it. Woo! And all of a sudden these people like, rip the frets out. I want to play like Tony Franklin. And I was like, good luck.
Did you come into the game playing fretless? Like,
no.
At what point did you?
Yeah. What was the turning point? What made you do that? Yeah. What was your thinking?
Well, I started on the fretted, and the fretted was pretty quick, instant for me. It was given to me by my mother, really, to keep me quiet. I'd be 12 years old. I was making a nuisance of myself, and so she gave me this electric bass, which I don't recall seeing before, and it was so fast. I mean, I could read music. I'd been doing gigs with my parents' band, but the second the bass landed in my hands, it was like, ooh, you know, the angels and singing and the lights from the clouds opened up, and that was it. And it's like, wow! I said to myself then, this is the instrument I've been waiting for. It was that instant. 3 days later, I was playing gigs on it. It was that quick.
Wow.
Fretless came along about 5 years later when I was introduced to Jaco Pastorius's music.
Wow.
And it's like, wow, I never knew that a bass could have that presence and that sound and that expressibility, all of it. And so, but I love the precision bass. So I thought, okay, I need to have a fretless precision bass. my parents saw one in the newspaper down in London, so we went down on the train, and I got it, but it was not instant. It was like, oh wow, this is a whole different world, a whole different beast. I thought I was pretty cool on the fretted bass because I could play chords, right?
Yeah.
You try playing chords on a fretless bass, it's like it gets very ugly very fast.
But the dynamics you get from doing it are just so, it's amazing, you know. And just listening to that song again, like what we were just listening to that clip. I mean, I was blessed. I got to work with Paul Rodgers a few times. It's amazing, one of the best rock singers. And Paige, just listening to what you do in that, it's just, I mean, you are a legendary pioneer of creating a sound. I mean, I'm dead serious. These guys were having their frets ripped out of their basses because they wanted to play like you. Just like Norwood's been
That's
such
amazing.
a big influence on so many people too.
My-
I mean, Flea told me that Norwood taught him how to play funk slap bass. You know, he's like, Flea said, he's like,
That's
Lord
so
Fisher
cool.
and Billy Bass Nelson are my two favorite bass players. And you, it's like, wow, it's amazing your career and what you've done, Tony.
Thank you.
I'm
Ken. He's the
curious,
voice.
Very honest. I'm very honored to be your brother and all the times we got to play. And I know we're doing
Yeah.
fantasy camp coming up soon.
We're not
aren't we?
done yet either.
Yeah.
Jimmy Page, Paul Rogers, that's great. But my question to you is your hair. Like, how much time would you spend backstage with your hair to get it right for those shows? Because that was pretty mild. I've seen some other old shots of you where, man, the hair.
Well, you know, depends at what point in the tour it was, because I never cut it. And so if you look at the Satisfaction Guaranteed video, I don't know if you have that one, but that is now this one that was shot at the Hammersmith Odeon in December of 1984, after what was like our 7th show. We were touring before the album came out.
Wow.
And so it was, which was pretty cool. They really wanted to do the smaller venues, Hammersmith Odeon, and that is before we went to the US. To me, it was a thrill playing at the Odeon because of all the bands that have played there. Queen, of course, my favorite. So, but yeah, I'll circle back to that. So that was early days in the hair growing. So it was quite a bit shorter then. It used to take me no time at all. This was the thing, but I had my ritual. It was very bleached out, right? So it was dry as anything. Could not wash it on a show day. If I washed it, that was disastrous, right? I had to have the dirt in there. A couple of days was ideal. So I had to plan my hair washing around the gigs. So I would literally tease it with the comb, and okay. The image that I remember is flying to the gigs in the Viscount plane and just doing my hair in the toilet, and they'd be done in 5 minutes. It's crazy.
You know, I was a youngster, and my brother went to see Supertramp, and he brought back the whole booklet to look at the band members. And in the back, there was this crazy guy with a hairstyle, and I was 14 going, that's a hairstyle. Guess who it was? Scott Paine. And this guy had hair and was it was competitive with the old Tony Franklin sax player. I forget what they called you. They just said, like, they didn't call you
the Hedge.
Well, but yeah, what was the name of the musician? They didn't say saxophone. They just said like friend and musician or something. I can't remember what your title was, because I didn't know it was a saxophone that you played. I couldn't tell. It was just a guy in Supertramp. It was like that crazy guy.
That's
Didn't
funny.
you have like a mullet? Didn't you?
I had the mullet. I had like the mullet of
mullet?
all mullets, man.
He had the El Camino.
Those were
Got the
it's
mullet
amazing
and
what
the
we do.
No.
What we do
Right.
for our art, right? With this
Hey,
crazy
you know,
stuff.
you see, like
So
me
we're
and
going to
Perkins
talk
and
about-
Norwood, we kind of like, we were still in school when you know, and Tony had a chance. We all had those hairdos, but we didn't have our break until after we tamed
It was
our
the
hairs down.
80s. It was just
Yeah.
normal. That's the thing. People call it, look at that mullet. Well, it wasn't a mullet then. It was just the hair. It was the big hair
it
of the
was.
days.
It was
you know?
the shag.
It was the
But
shit.
I wanted to steer it a little bit to meditation, quietude, and keeping a balance when we play loud rock and roll for a living and people come to us for a party. That's what we do. We put on the party. And then how do you balance that? Because we all have our ways, but I really like your angle. And I think you're a wonderful speaker in that sense, where you can teach us a good a good way to kind of calm ourselves.
Yeah. Just before we do that, that was how me and Tony hit it off, right? Because consciousness is my favorite subject on the planet. And we started talking that night. That's what brought us kind of together, because we had this commonality of that, you know, who are we? Where we come from? What is this all about? Kind of, you know, space. And so, yeah, I was glad you brought that up, Perkins, because I wanted to get, this is now we're getting into someplace I like to talk. So Tony boy, yeah. What is your ritual? What do you think? How did you get into it? What is that for you?
Yeah, well, it's something I love to share because it's so important in my life. It's one of, if not the biggest part of my life. Yeah. It enriches everything else. It gives perspective to everything else. And honestly, I'd be complete wreck and lost without it. So it is very, very important to me. And like many of us rockers, I went through the 80s and was a complete party animal, out of control, doing everything and anything. And there are people that have seen me after that, or seen friends that have asked, said, oh yeah, that guy, is he still alive? Because I was on such a trajectory of destruction, self-destruction. People were like, yeah, that's going to be one of the next casualties. And but you know, it all turned around because I took it to the extreme. I mean, I was doing it all. At one point, I was having a bottle of Jack Daniels for every single day, you know, and at that point, and then all the rest too. So it was pretty extreme. But then I reached a point in late '89, and it was with Blue Murder, another great band I happened to be with, another great guitarist, John Sykes. Yeah. And things didn't go as far as we would expected, and it was a downer. And so we were partying on the high, and then when you're partying when things are coming down, then you're just trying to escape the pain. And so, but I got to a point where I was drinking and I wasn't getting any more drunk. I was smoking, I wasn't getting any more high. I was doing everything and it was doing nothing. And so I remember waking up one day thinking, there's got to be more to life than this. This was 1989. And then I walked into, I mean, this is my particular thing. I love browsing the new age used bookshops. And I found a book which just started talking about Eastern religion practices, meditation, yoga. Yoga is not, you know, just the bodily stretches. It is about meditation and concentration, all the things that take you within. And it's like, wow. And from that point, my life started to change. It was like I didn't even really have to try. I was just naturally gravitating that way. And so before I knew it, I'd stopped doing all the partying and I was reading every single book I could about meditation. And, you know, there's a lot of it out there and it's very easy to get lost because you can get almost like spiritual indigestion, right? Spiritual, you get clogged up with it because there's so much information. There's a lot of people jumping on that bandwagon. And to distill it down to very, very simple, and this is where Scott and I resonated together, is that it ends up, all of those practices end up putting you in the now, in the moment, because, you know, you don't find peace in the future. You don't find it in the past. You only find it right where you are. And it can be very fleeting as well. And so for me, that becomes a daily practice every single morning of just stilling myself so that I can be completely in the now. And so I do that through meditation. And to simplify, I mean, I have very specific practices and I do them for about an hour each day. And it's been 30 years of that. And so it gradually accumulates, if you like. So it becomes part of your everyday. But some days it's still like running underwater. It's like working out at the gym. Some days it's just flowing. Other days it feels like you're fighting it every step of the way. It doesn't matter. You're never quite there. You're just always chasing that. But you get a glimpse of it, and it's like there's no turning back once you get that glimpse.
Once you taste it, taste that little taste where you get that aha moment of presence, what it really is, everything switches, and then you just follow. You want it. You want to taste that.
Yeah, you're always going for that, and you do it. And even if it's like working out at the gym, even if it's hard work, you don't feel you're getting anywhere, you are, and you just have to be consistent and steady with it. You keep trying and putting that effort in. So anyway, to condense it without getting too specific, the only thing in the human body that is in the now all the time is the breath, right? The breath is part of us, and yet it's separate from us because we can feel it, but we can't grasp it. So what the yogis did was just have you be in the moment and focus on the breath. And so I actually put my attention at the third eye, close my eyes, and then just literally watch my breath going in and out. And it's not trying to control it. It's almost like you're watching somebody else breathe. Right? You're not trying to control it or hold it or force it. You just stay in that moment and observe it. And here's the thing, you know, we're always in the now, but we're often, the mind is going nuts, right? With 1,000,001 thoughts. If you can, for one split second, get the thoughts to stop or slow down, that's when you get this realization that there's a peace within us that is so deep and profound that it's there all the time. If only we would just put in the time to help slow those thoughts down.
Yeah. You know, it's so interesting because the way I kind of look at it is this, is if everybody realizes one fundamental thing, the only thing that is real is us talking right now. Everything else is an illusion because 30 seconds ago is gone. 30 seconds from now is not even here. So it's really that place of that space where you're almost like every step you take is like you're staying in the same place. So if you can keep your attention, right, become aware of where you are, because what happens is we get lost in thought. We can put all our attention on our thinking. I try to explain for a rule that I went through, or a practice I went through, was try to ask yourself as many times in the day, just stop, if you can remember this, stop and ask this question: where am I and what am I feeling? So you stop, you put all your attention here, and then you ask yourself, what are you feeling? Am I feeling any anxiety, tension, or fear? And I'm sitting here with a bottle of water in my hand. In reality, I know I'm identifying with a thought, right? I'm actually, the thought is what's controlling me. And that's why the future and time is the thing that makes us all suffer, because we're worried about something in the future or somebody did something in the past, but that's really all illusion, but we're identifying it with our mind and our ego. And the goal is, like you said, Tony, is to taste what it feels like where thought drops, thought stops. Once that drops, you feel that sense and you just realize you see reality for the very first time. And once you taste it, the funny part is I remember I used to stare at plants for like hours. I'd sit outside there. I just stare at the plant, right? I'd just be looking at it. And I just put all my attention on the space around the plant. And the first time it drops, it goes, and you feel this shift. And then all of a sudden your mind comes around and says, what was that? Now you're back, right? You're back in that thing. But once you taste it, you just never stop, right? And
here's the thing though, it's, you know, it's great, but people think, oh, you know, I'm meditating, I'm blissed out. Doesn't excuse you from my mantra is prayer and hustle, right? Because we still have to function, we still have to feed our bodies and take care of our family. You know, it's great. The spirituality helps put it in perspective, helps give me a calm mind to be able to attack the duties of the day. I find myself being more productive and creative because of it. And it's not because I'm all blissed out. No, I'm not. I'm very much focused on what needs to be done and be aware of that. And it does enhance the creativity. Now, if people want to get better at what they do, you don't practice your instrument for 12 hours a day. You go to a place where the deeper inspiration comes. And I'm going to mention one book, and it's called Talks with Great Composers. And it's a talk with, it goes back, it was written in the late 1800s, and it was personal interviews with Brahms, with Mendelssohn, with Grieg, and all those people knew people who played in Beethoven's orchestra. So their reach is way, way back. All of them, without exception, when they composed their music, went into a deep meditative place where they were compelled to compose and write. The world switched off for them. They still had to know the mechanics of how to write, because they were given this idea to write, but they still had to know how to do it and put it all together. You have to know how to put together a piece of music. So I can say that there's been no greater high than I've had from meditation, but also it has inspired and just given me perspective and energy and strength to take on the world. You know, it's like it's so important to me.
I get up every morning and there's about 25 of us on a Zoom call at 7:30 on the dot. We do Wim Hof breathing. Have you done that at all?
No.
Oh, buddy. You are gonna, I'm so happy I'm telling you this. You must do this. I'm gonna invite you to come do this with us. It will blow your mind, man, because I'm telling you, it is the most powerful thing that I've done. It's kind of combination, and it's this whole breathing thing, and then you hold your breath and you start out 90 seconds, then 2 minutes, then 2.5 minutes, up to 3 minutes you're holding your breath with all your air out. Like you blow all the air out of your lungs and you sit there for 3 minutes and no breath, and you basically go into a state, and it is so unbelievable, and it's so great for your inflation. I mean, it's helped my arthritis and everything like crazy. So Tony, you got to do Wim Hof, man.
Are you at 90 seconds yourself, $120? Where are you at?
I go 3.5 minutes.
You do.
I mean, to me, that's amazing. And I just want to say, you know, I spent many years free diving and becoming kind of a master at free diving and spearfishing for big fish. And I would go, that's probably my form of meditation, where I would get out into the ocean and I would lay there and I would get into a state where I could actually hear my heartbeat in the water.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
And I would feel it get down to 40 beats a minute. And I would hold my breath for 2-3 minutes, like easy, no problem. I can't imagine the exhaling out all of your air and then going 2 or 3 minutes.
That's why.
It's a trip. Well, you do like 40 intakes of filling the lower part of your body up your lungs to the bit, and you go back and you keep doing this, and then you push all the air out, and then you just sit there, and it's so beautiful.
I love this, and I want to try it. And I wanted to mention something real quick. You were mentioning time, and we are all musicians here. And David, I know you are too. And so is Sheila. She's a tambourine dancing soul.
With Prince's tambourine.
And tambourine's not easy. But, you know, when you talk about time and what musicians, the power we have on the audience of 10 people, 1,000 or 100,000, what we can do just by moving the air. And music is it's not tangible. You can't put it in your pocket. But the way the bass and drums, and of course the waves that the bass and drums have are slower moving and round. And then the frictional kind of static waves that guitar and saxophone have to electrocute somebody's spirit. I mean, we really heal people. And I think our music is like this vibration that you were talking about, that, you know, when we're in it, we can do what you're talking about, but people don't even, it's subliminal. We're healing people with these waves of music, and they're meditating to the music. They don't even realize they're doing it. We are the source. Yeah, and I just, if it's done right, which is occasional with this, you know, with me, I try to tap in, and I love tapping in and seeing people get healed with the music on that same sense. There's a silent and quiet moment, and there's this vibration that music makes, and I think it's quite healing myself.
On every corner of the planet, music is involved in meditative experience.
Yeah.
Right. Like we live in a pop music mecca, but even within the realm of pop music, we got music that'll send you into a deep state. Pink Floyd was one of those bands, right?
Still does.
Zeppelin did it plenty much.
Yeah.
You know, James Brown.
Yeah.
Parliament Funkadelic.
Ravi Shankar.
We have lived those in our lives and stood in awe and in trance.
Well, at the bottom level of
I have a theory.
I just want to do a real quick from everyone. This show is the fastest show we've ever done. And I want to see, Tony, would you be okay if we went a little bit longer today, like 10, 15 minutes?
Sure, yeah.
because honestly, our show is pretty much over, and it's just I don't want this to end. Like we're having too much fun here.
That would
Sheila
be
had a
cool,
question
but
for
you know
Tony.
what? Yeah, I may not want to, but I have one question if I don't get to stay on for the duration, and it probably would have segued really well when we were talking about your hair. but I was curious about how you pick what you wear. I mean, I know the different eras, right? The 70s, the 80s, the 90s, all of that. But do you have a certain sense of style that I've noticed since I've seen you play? Do you have a trick to it? Do you have favorite pieces? Is there a signature Tony look? How do you do that? And how did you change it through the different fashion statement styles and to match your hair?
I haven't honestly thought about it too much, but a lot of it is also down to practicality of what's comfortable. The time, the era reflects that. I mean, the 80s, I was all about being comfortable and the baggy pants, and I could wear that. And it was very comfortable. Blue Murder, I was baggy pants, a waistcoat, a vest, and no shoes. It was the most free and comfortable thing I could do. The hair, well, that had a mind of its own. That went. I've had more hairstyles than I can remember, so that was what it was. But the 90s and the 2000s were very, very awkward. Yeah, I just didn't really. I think it was awkward for everybody, wasn't it? Really, but and then it depends on the gig as well. I don't see myself necessarily as having a specific style. I just if it's a bit more dressy and formal, then I'll put on some nicer pants and maybe a jacket and some whatever boots match that, whatever's clean.
Do you have like a signature piece of jewelry or ring that you always wear before you play?
No. I mean, I always wear a cross and I always wear an Om symbol and wedding ring because I can't wear it because of playing. That's what I wear all the time. Those never come off. And that's pretty much my jewelry. I do have another one called a Navratna, which is actually from India, which is what they call an astrological bangle. Cool. Which let's just say that helps during Mercury retrograde.
All right.
Balance. You got to balance.
Yeah, hey, each one of the stones. So, but no, I am very, very simple when it comes to things. I'm not really one that has any particular rituals. I do want to mention one thing that I do because, hey, I'm human. I have to watch myself before I play. I can't have too much caffeine or chocolate or anything because I will get anxious before a gig, especially if it's a new one. So I do a breathing thing, which helps calm me down instantly. Once again, and by the way, Perkins, I want to add that music is healing for two reasons, I think. One is the vibration that it puts out, right? Those vibrations. And I think the bass is one of the most powerful ones, to be honest. There's something about those low frequencies and it resonates with the Om sound, doesn't it? Almost. Mm-hmm. So it's very deep and resonates deep in your soul. And but also, once again, music is always in the moment. It's in the now. It's not a note that you're going to play you know what you're going to play in the future. But for the people that are listening, that's why it's harder to really enjoy or have a perspective on how a gig is going. You don't always get to know until you hear it afterwards, right? A recording, because we are always thinking, oh, this section's coming up next. So you're always ready for that, unless you play with Banyan like Perkins and I do, which is completely in the moment, which is completely free form, right? First time I did that, we asked that question earlier, how did he and I meet? And it was through our mutual friend, Willie Waldman. I don't know who was the recommendation was, but he called me, I think. Was it him or was it you? I don't remember.
Well, I think my first connection, my bridge to you was Dave Weiderman.
Right. Yeah, the Guitar Center.
And he was is a wonderful artist connector of Guitar Center. And he put together the Rock Walk and so many great parties, etc., and connecting people. And also Robert Knight, the photographer.
Yes.
Who I spoke to today, actually.
Wow, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And they said, are you interested in meeting Tony Frank? And before they said Frank Lynn, I went, yes, absolutely. And
Wow.
but also Norwood has done many shows with me and Willie and Banyan. And I love the challenge of laying down a highway or a railroad track and watching what's happening and also listening to not interrupt the ride. But the free form is this conversation you have when you meet someone for the first time and you get talking to each other and you talk all night and you don't even realize it. You're like, wow, we talked all night. We had so much in common. We had so much to share. A good jam feels like that. You know, before you know it, we've been jamming for hours. And it's like, wow, we went everywhere. It's like making love. And you got hard, you got soft, you went to sleep, you woke up, you did it again. You know, it's good.
Yeah, exactly. And Perkins has a great way, even in that free form format, of like, okay, there's a rise. It's like a different section. It feels like, you know, goes to another place. And he and I, by the way, show everybody our palm of our hand. We have, if people can even see it, it's we have what we call the left hand, right hand, where there's the adjoining line that goes all the way across, and we touch hands, and it's
look at that.
Wow, that's amazing, actually.
Oh wow.
We both have one line all the way across.
So we put hands together and they align perfectly, and that's
cool.
pretty rare. But what is even rarer is for somebody to have it on both hands. And you know who has it?
Who?
You and Perkins?
Jimmy Page.
What up?
What?
Right on.
I
Hear
have
that,
two
Perks?
M's. I have two M's on mine
Yeah.
from Moss Man.
That's okay. You know, so
Yeah, I think mine look
it's-
like yours, Moss.
but but Perkins and I just, I don't know, we have this thing that is very unique and special, always did
Yeah.
right from the get-go, that we're good listeners, and we're adventurous, and we really resonate together, and that's been over 25 years now of doing
Yeah,
that.
I always say,
I
if
totally
I was,
agree. I have to
if
say,
I was
totally
a drummer,
agree.
I'd want
Playing
to
with
play like Perkins. I
Perkins is
always tell him that.
Perkins lifts. I mean, one thing I love about playing with Perk is when you go into whatever the gig, he just lifts the spirit in the room,
Yeah.
and he basically drives it, and it's always this just
And that's before he
incredible.
even starts
It
playing.
makes it to
That's
play
just like
easy to
walking
play
on.
because he just
It's
takes
like-
it
no,
to someplace
he-
else, right?
He creates this big wave to like,
Yeah.
it's like he conjures up this beautiful wall of sound. It's just like entrances you in. It's just like vibrations into drums. You look at all through the years and the tribal ceremonies and just the meditation just created by beats. And
Yep.
Steve's one of those really true, drummers that has taken all that in and made that part of who he is.
And you'll pick it up a little and you'll
Uh,
take it back a little bit. You just
yeah.
kind of make it go all different places. It's fascinating. It's
Well, thank
you
you.
play really different than anybody I've ever played with, actually.
Yeah.
And you know what's great talking to Norwood, who grew up with his brother Fish, is one of the most solid and most determined drummer. Everything he does, he's got a reason. And like playing with one guy, you know what I mean? And then maybe even that's like another arm. It's like it's part of you. And that to me is a rhythm section. And like Tony was saying, it's somehow, even though if we spend a year away from each other, there's this infusion we get, like a hand and a glove fits. And and it is about listening and also being flexible and not too rigid. And I know when you play with your bro Norwood, the sense is it's one. It's not even two people. It just sounds like one instrument. The rhythm section,
It does.
You're on mute, Norwood.
Yep. And also, for me, when I go into a gig, I want to make the people happy. It's not about me. I want to uplift them. I want them to go away feeling great. And I think if everybody goes into like that, I mean, when we're younger, we're like, oh, I've got to get this riff right. I got to get this part right. Oh, I blew it. Oh, I did it that time. We're all wrapped up in ourselves. And to me, music is about uplifting people and all that. And so whenever I play now, I mean, I say a little prayer beforehand, just to, may the people, may I not make a mistake, or but will they be uplifted? Actually, I don't care if I make mistakes. It's not about that. It's not about being perfect, as we discussed.
And the
But
best players, like when we play to a song together, it's so much different than like you were saying, we're younger and so someone wants to be you know, especially guitar players, you know, they want to be like soloing here and there everywhere. And it's like finding that beauty, the space between the notes and just all playing together is really what it's all about. Yeah.
About those
Yeah,
spaces, man.
absolutely.
The spaces, the part, the dead air, the places in between. That was the thing I loved about playing with
Yeah.
Gilmore. Is sometimes he would go play a lick, and all the people are sitting there, and then he just walk over to his little amp, and he'd start adjusting knobs, and everybody's waiting for that next note, and then he'll turn over and he'll wow one more time, right? It's all that space. Right. He master of melody, that guy. I mean, that was the thing I love about Gilmore. Because if you think about Comfortably Numb, if you could imagine listening to Comfortably Numb without the solo in the middle, it's like the vocals are missing.
Yeah.
Like somebody left the voice out, right? It's just
But
something
that's a beautiful
about
thing
that, the
about
way
your
he-
style too, Scott, because you play so like a singer as well with the sax. You find
Well,
those beautiful things in Gilmore. I mean, you know, you guys dancing together, intertwining. And stuff.
Gilmore,
It's
that's where I
beautiful.
got it from. I mean, he changed my life, because I just realized that it wasn't about trying to play a lot of notes. It's about playing something people can understand and listen and take away. Right. He was that's just that melody, you know, and
I
it's
love
also
your
good if you don't have a
style,
lot of
Scott.
chops, it kind of forces you into that. Right?
Scott, your style is also pretty unique from other sax players that I've watched. Like you sing and make sounds that come through that aren't just the sax. You're ho ha whoo ah. It's so wonderful to hear that. And
It's like kind of like, oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I was
yeah,
gonna say,
no,
but
I
you look
just
at like
love that.
Gladys Knight as a singer. She used her vocals like this beautiful instrument, and it's like, and it's like guys like Scott or me, you're talking all of us, you know, where you listen to that, and that's where I learned a lot of space too, because I'd hear someone like her sing, and go, I'd never be able to sing like that in this body that I was, you know, my soul is in, but I can maybe take a guitar and find my own voice to find those notes. But I found how she would just separate things instead of just pushing everything all together. And
I want to
Norwood, you were
cover
gonna
one
say
more
something.
thing. I want to talk about something a little different, which is how to sustain a career and keep productive and busy, and you know, and be useful all these years, because it's challenging times. It's challenging times for musicians, period, because you know, it's a strange old business, and how do we keep going with that? And so to me, which it goes along with meditation, but that is, I guess today it's called manifesting, right?
Okay.
There was a great book that was written in 1946 called The Magic of Believing. And it's all about the power of your thoughts and putting your focus on what you want to create, right? And almost to the exclusion, almost to the obsession of creating that thing. So the exclusion of all other things. It's like, okay, what do you want? You want a highly successful career doing what you love, and you know, keeping busy and great income. You're going to be very, very specific. You can have affirmations and thoughts and picture it. That book is powerful because it really helped me to, because how often do we have those different thoughts that come in? Oh God, the last year was a nightmare, right? For all the touring shut down, all the business shut down. So I really had to walk my talk and put those thoughts and everything into motion. And yeah, the grace of the heavens, I was busy the whole year doing different things, a lot of recording sessions and different things that came along, and unusual things that I probably wouldn't have done. And so, you know, you keep a strong thought going. I have a ton of affirmations. I do them when I'm driving. I do them when I'm out walking. Some of them are very, very simple. I'm on Perkins there. So it's a
Missed it, Perk. You missed it.
I say it so like I become obsessed with it. I am brave. I am strong. I am worthy. I am prosperous. I'm successful. I'm seeking spiritual truth. And you say over and over again, so that it becomes like an obsession, and all negative thoughts and everything go away. And you go to sleep saying it. You wake up saying it. Whatever you want. It's always I am, or I, whatever it is, because it has to be in the now, right? It's not going to be, I'm going to be successful. Well, that could be 10 years time. It could be 20 years time. No, I am successful.
Right.
I'm prosperous. I'm healthy. I am wealthy. All those things that you want. And it's not being selfish. It's about it's about changing your vibration, changing your magnetism of what you attract to you. And so, it's so important to focus on what you want and to get out any of those things that you don't want. Well, I don't want to have to go to do this. Well, yeah, sometimes the things that we don't want come along to test us, don't they? Our attitude.
Yep. Oh boy.
And so,
I remember
It's basically the power of the subconscious. You're basically programming your subconscious. It almost gets into some of the, the early stuff for me getting into the spiritual stuff really came when somebody turned me on to self-hypnosis, which was, I think, is a very interesting, it's almost affirmations where you're visualizing yourself in circumstances. And then all of a sudden, you imagine yourself in a situation that you're in constantly where you might get mad or get freaked out, and you constantly in visualizing yourself walking through that situation, kind of the ideal situation. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, it comes up, and then afterwards you go, holy cow, I didn't let it take me over. So it's that same kind of thing of just building with that
Phil
affirmation.
Jackson, the amazing, Hall of Fame basketball coach of the Lakers, used to have the team do that before every single game and every single practice. Visualize, think about, see themselves winning, see themselves having a good game. And just literally that was a part of his mantra with the Lakers when they were the Showtime Lakers, one of the best teams.
Yeah, it's so important.
When I was young, I remember my friend had a injury, and I was with him, he went to the doctor, and he told his doctor he had a bad back. And the doctor said, you don't have a bad back, you have a great back. Your back is injured. Tell yourself your back is not bad. Don't ever call your bad. You don't have a bad back. Your back is perfect. And I don't know how it works for my friend, but it totally awakened me up to think, absolutely. Tell yourself you are perfect and you are just balancing what the environment's throwing you, and don't forget that we're made for this, and I envy the dedication. I always try to, like you and Kenny Aronoff, Tony and Kenny, and some of these great musicians have been doing it for so long, day after day, dedication. You're an inspiration, Tony Franklin. Thank you.
And on that note, because we are pretty much out of time, but Tony, would you, like, before we go into our closing, we know your bass is all set up. I mean, we would love it if you would grace us with something, with some low,
I thought you'd never ask.
Vibrations.
Oh, you got my favorite bass too, the old Bluey.
You mean this one?
Yeah. That's a Tony
I love
Franklin
that
special,
bass.
right?
Don't forget to mute other guy. Everybody should mute. I think it'll help his mic.
And
I'll
don't
say,
forget
I
to
am that I
adjust-
am. It is what it is.
And don't and adjust your camera a little bit, Tony, so we can.
I will.
actually
Yeah, I'll get it
see.
all in. I'll move the microphone out the way. And are you hearing this?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm feeling it
All
too.
right, so that's good. I'll move this. And are we going to come back on mic afterwards, or what are we
Yes.
doing?
Yep,
Or am I- okay. All right. Here we go. Get a little bit more.
So we're all gonna mute, right? Scott, you're gonna hit mute.
Oh.
Yep.
What do we do? We mute?
Not sure what I'm going to do, really. Here we go.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, my eyes water, Tony Franklin.
Wow.
Dude, you
That
are
was
so
amazing.
bad boy. Woo.
And how
Wow, that
about
was-
I play the intro of Radioactive for you, as we saw
Yeah,
it earlier,
yeah.
right?
Wow.
It all started. You
Yeah.
know, the thing about that was it was started off with this sliding harmonic that people couldn't figure out how that was done. And it's just one of those things you can only do on a fretless bass. Hit the harmonic, because plenty of harmonics all over the bass, but on the fretless, you can slide them. So it's a... It's a fretless perk.
That's amazing. A fretless perk.
Yes.
There you go. There's a new band name right
So,
there.
right.
Fretless perk.
That's it.
So here we go. It's all it was, you know, it's the drums. By the way, Chris Slade, when he recorded that, we used no click. They put a click on afterwards to check how he did with it. He was spot on.
Spot
the
on.
whole way. He sped up a little bit in the solo, and then dropped right back into it. It's like, how
Perfect.
does somebody do that? You know? So he's like this. He's so good.
And
Anyway,
he
so,
had a big smile. He always
Oh,
seemed like a
yeah,
big
yeah.
guy. Yeah,
He's
that was cool.
Such a sweetheart, yeah. And you know, you mentioned he's very machine-like, and he is. He actually played with Gary Newman before
wow.
the film.
I didn't know
like
that. Wow.
82. Right there in my car.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Friends, there's a song called "Friends Are Electric." It's one of my
Yes.
favorite Gary Newman tunes. It's
Yes.
outstanding.
So
Hey,
anyway,
listen,
here's
So I was gonna say what you just did. It wraps like a blanket. You know, it just wraps you up. The bass. You know, Norwood does it too. It's this tone. It's this feel. And just
That
it's like
was-
putting on a nice jacket or something. It's like, oh, bass playing, really good bass playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You
your
just-
time
you
is
just-
so good, Tony.
You
Your
just took
time
us
is
on an
so good.
emotional
Thank you.
roller coaster, bro. And you know, you demonstrated like a lot of sensitivity, but and a lot of power.
Yeah.
And like I was just thinking like there was moments where like, yep, that's the guy that got the Kate Bush gig. You know, like if
Thank you.
that
That means a
showed
lot.
up, and you know, like it's beautiful what you do, brother.
Well, boy.
thank you. I
Amazing.
appreciate that a lot, especially from you, Norwood. Truly.
Well, listen, we are this show is gonna end whether we like it or not, because it's set to end in a few minutes. So I just
Right.
want to start out by saying, Tony, thank you for joining us. You're an amazing person. I'm glad to have met you a few years ago due to Norwood's unfortunate fate, but I'm grateful for that. Thank you for joining us, and for everyone out there, follow us on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. I'm going to let someone else do that. I'm just sort of doing the thank yous and closing it out. And it was a great show. And on that note, I'm going to hand it off to.
Yeah, you want to take me. I want to thank our sponsors. We can't forget our sponsors. We've got Artist Relations. Our buddy Randy Fuchs has always taken care of us for all these years through time. Thank you very much, Randy Fuchs. We've got Lewitt Microphones, which we love our little Lewitt microphones. IK Multimedia, thank you very much. TPM Films and FTE from the Earth, our pals there. And our team, our rock and roll team, our guys behind the scene that make it all happen, Mr. Eric Lloyd, Eric Lloyd, Mr. Mark Armatano, and Mr. Graham Cooper, who's been doing our editing. And so thank you guys, all of us, and we really appreciate those sponsors big time. Thank you.
Also, Tony, where can people visit you if they want to just any information on the man, the Fretless Monster?
I'm under Fretless Monster everything. It's Twitter, Fretless Monster, Instagram, Fretless Monster, YouTube is Tony Franklin, the Fretless Monster. It's all under that.
Great.
And so I'm very active on there. I handle it all myself at this point. And so I love to interact with people and get some great feedback and comments and have a lot of fun. And I'm not going to dance around. Radioactive.
That's so badass.
Kenny, you're on mute. Unmute, Kenny, because you're going to close us out here. And Tony, when we don't leave just yet. We're going to close out and then stay with us for a minute.
Cool. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. It's been fantastic. You know how I feel about all you guys. I love you. And so this is just a real pleasure, and hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We love you too, brother. And I also like to tell everybody to tune in for our next show on August 5th. And a real quick question, Moss, which number show is this that we just did tonight? Which was an amazing show.
Tonight was number 34.
With Brother Tony. Number 34.
Our 34th show.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
Tune in for August 5th for number 35.
Yep, there you
All
go.
right. And on that note, Tony, hang tight. Don't go away.
And you'll know this band, Tony boy.
That's true.
All right. August 5th is the next time. We'll see you next